Captain Zara Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance, watching the hegemony fleet approach through the view screen. 300 ships of pristine white and gold, their hulls gleaming with energy shields that could deflect antimatter charges. The pride of the galactic hegemony coming to finish what they'd started 6 months ago. "They're hailing us again, Captain," reported Lieutenant Rodriguez from the communications station. "Put them through." The screen flickered, revealing the angular features of Admiral Thix, his crystalline exoskeleton catching the light from his ship's bridge. His 4 eyes regarded her with what could only be described as amusement. "Captain Chen," Thix's voice carried the characteristic harmonic undertones of his species. "Your little fleet of 30 ships against our armada? Surely even humans understand basic mathematics?" Zara kept her expression neutral. "We understand a lot more than you think, Admiral." Thix's mandibles clicked in what passed for laughter among the Kethtar. "Yes, I've read your species file. Stone tools barely 10,000 years ago. Chemical rockets a mere century past. You've had faster-than-light travel for what, 50 Earth years? We've been among the stars for over 10 million of your years." "And yet here we are," Zara replied. "Indeed. Here you are, making your final stand with weapons that would have been outdated when my ancestors first left their homeworld. Kinetic, projectiles, chemical explosives, crude fusion warheads. Tell me, Captain, what exactly do you hope to accomplish with such prehistoric armaments?" Behind Thix, Zara could see other hegemony officers, Veltar with their energy manipulation abilities, Synthri with their advanced psionic capabilities, and half a dozen other species that made up the most technologically advanced civilization the galaxy had ever known. They all shared the same expression of condescending pity. "You want to know what we hope to accomplish?" Zara asked, her hand moving to a particular console. "We hope to teach you something about warfare." Thix's amusement deepened. "Warfare? Child, my people were refining quantum disruption fields when yours were still hiding in caves. Our energy weapons can unmake matter at the subatomic level. Our shields can deflect the fury of stars themselves. What could primitives like you possibly teach us about?" "That you never actually fought a war," Zara interrupted. The silence on the hegemony bridge was telling. "Your entire civilization," Zara continued, "has spent millions of years in peace. You've had skirmishes, police actions, minor disputes settled with minimal violence. You've forgotten what warfare actually means. You see, Admiral? The thing about us primitive humans is that we never stopped fighting. We never had a chance to forget." "Ridiculous. Our military databases contain theoretical knowledge," Zara cut him off again. "Academic studies, historical, recreations. But you've never actually faced an enemy that wanted to see your civilization burn. You've never fought for survival against someone who understood that war isn't about having the best weapons, it's about using whatever you have in ways your enemy never expects." She nodded to her weapons officer. "Mr. Kim, initiate Darwin. Protocol." Across the human fleet, ships that had appeared to be simple vessels revealed their true nature. Cargo freighters split open to release clouds of what looked like metallic dust. Science vessels ejected countless small objects that began spreading throughout the battlefield. Even the Defiance itself began venting atmosphere in carefully controlled bursts. "What are you doing?" Thix demanded. "Something you never learned to do," Zara replied. "We're improvising." The first indication that something was wrong came when the hegemony's long-range sensors began registering false readings. The metallic dust wasn't just debris, it was billions of microscopic machines, each one designed for a single purpose: to reflect and redirect sensor pings, creating ghost images and false signatures. "Admiral," one of Thix's officers reported, "we're reading human ships in impossible positions. Our targeting systems can't lock onto anything." But that was just the beginning. The small objects the science vessels had released weren't weapons. They were chunks of ice, metal, and rock, accelerated to significant fractions of light speed by simple magnetic launchers. No exotic physics, no energy signatures to track, just mass and velocity on an intercept course. "Incoming projectiles," another officer called out. They're just rocks, sir." "Impossible! Our shields will—" The first impacts sent shockwaves through the hegemony formation. Their energy shields, designed to disperse directed energy weapons and deflect antimatter, were completely unprepared for the simple kinetic force of solid objects moving at relativistic speeds. The projectiles punched through the shields like they weren't there. How? Thix stared at his tactical display as his ships began taking damage from what amounted to sophisticated slingshots. "You optimized for fighting enemies like yourselves," Zara explained. "Energy weapons, exotic matter, quantum fields. You never considered that someone might just throw rocks really, really hard." The human ships were moving now, not in the orderly formations the hegemony expected, but in chaotic, seemingly random patterns. They were using the vented atmosphere as impromptu maneuvering thrusters, their simple chemical rockets allowing them to change direction in ways that baffled the sophisticated prediction algorithms of hegemony targeting systems. "This is impossible," Thix roared. "Your weapons are primitive. Your technology is obsolete." "That's what makes them dangerous," Zara said, as the Defiance rolled between two hegemony cruisers, launching old-fashioned torpedoes that tracked not with exotic sensors, but with simple optical guidance systems that couldn't be jammed. You can't defend against weapons you never imagined anyone would be stupid enough to use. The battle was turning into a rout. Hegemony ships, designed for elegant duels between technological equals, found themselves helpless against an enemy that fought like cornered animals with whatever came to hand. Human vessels rammed enemy ships when their weapons ran out. They used their own debris as improvised weapons. One cruiser actually threw its entire cargo bay at a hegemony dreadnought, not launched, literally threw it using mechanical arms. "We yield!" Thix finally transmitted. "We surrender!" "No," Zara replied calmly. "You ran from us for 6 months. You glassed 3 of our colonies. You called us vermin to be exterminated." She leaned forward in her chair. "Now you get to learn the most important lesson about primitive species, Admiral." "What? What lesson?" Zara's smile was sharp as broken glass. "We know how to hold a grudge." The human fleet pressed their attack, and Thix finally understood why his ancestors had built their civilization on principles of peace and cooperation. It wasn't because they were evolved or enlightened. It was because they'd forgotten how truly terrifying warfare could be when practiced by species that had never learned to stop fighting. As his ship's hull began to buckle under impacts from weapons that had no business working, Thix realized that sometimes the most dangerous enemy wasn't the one with the best technology. It was the one with the worst, wielded by minds that refused to accept defeat. The hegemony had called humans prehistoric. They'd been right, and that was exactly what made humanity so dangerous.